So many people in my family have known before they were going to cross. My grandpa knew, and he paid his mortgage up and took care of the family for about 6 months out. My brother knew he was going to cross. My sister knew she was going to cross. My other sister knew she was going to cross. I mean, we tend to all have this sense about us, and I'm positive it comes from our connection with spirit, that we lean so heavily into spirit throughout our life. And being Native American, having been raised understanding that type of awareness, of course, that gives us a hand up. And a lot of people ask me, well, what about those of us that weren't raised in that way? How do we know if spirit is actually there? And you can just guarantee that spirit is there. It's a matter of quieting that mind, quieting and finding that space inside of you. And oftentimes, I'll have this inspiration come into my mind, and I'll know it's spirit because it's not something that my mind would necessarily come up with. It'll be something completely off the target. And but it'll be very pertinent to what is going on, whether it be take a left here and all of a sudden I've avoided this big holdup in traffic or a potential car accident or what have you. And spirit is here to, make sure that you adhere to the broad strokes of your life. So say, for instance, this is a good example. When I was 18 years old, we were headed down to an art show in Estes Park, Colorado. Mom and Dad were driving ahead of me, and they were in a camper, and they had, all the gear. I was behind them in this Bronco, and I too had all these suitcases and whatnot. We pulled over, got out, got snacks, got back in, and they took off without me, and I was in a hurry, and I didn't put on my seatbelt. And driving up out of Baggs, Wyoming, it's the very, very southern portion of Wyoming, headed into Colorado. We got right over the Colorado border. There were hills on both sides of the road that were kind of acting as a windbreak. I was leaning over because I was 18 and an idiot and getting something off of the passenger seat. Right when I came out of that windbreak, wind got me from the side. I overcorrected and ended up going into a 2.5 time rollover. I landed out in this field upside down, and I was able to get out, got somebody stopped. They went and got Mom and Dad. But what was amazing is that when I was getting ready to go into that rollover, I felt a hand come down on my chest and push me down into the seat. Now, the Bronco was totaled. It was an absolute total. But what was interesting is many times as seatbelts, because I'm a big seatbelt condoner, I wear it every time. And I wore it every time then too, but that time I didn't. Had I would have been damaged greatly. I would have been stuck to a seat that was absolutely crushed down. So there are these times that things happened for you, not to you. And then we went down, I was fine, ended up, getting stitched up, whatnot, went to our art show, got done. On the way back from the art show, we stopped at that same place. Coming up to that place, we pull over, of course the Bronco is dead and gone. I'm driving with Mom and Dad. We pull up, and Dad wants to stop and pray. And there's an eagle up on this telephone pole. And we pull over, and we're all in tears because we know that could have been the end of me if it were my time to go, but it wasn't. And that eagle was up there and had its wings spread out. And we burned sage, we prayed, we left food offering, we left tobacco offering. We did everything that in our culture we needed to. And that eagle stayed there the whole time until we were ready to go. And when we, put together that ceremony and it was complete, the eagle set off on his way. Those kinds of things are undeniable.